What is up, guys? I am back. This time, hopefully for me, for good. I've been away for like a month and I didn't give too much information, but for the few of you who were wondering, I had appendicitis. I was in the hospital, but that was like a couple of weeks ago and I'm feeling much better now. So we're not going to be making music just yet. I wanted to give you guys a little welcome back gift. I have 5 plugins for you guys. Well, actually 4.5. We'll get to that in a minute. These are mostly mixing plugins that I have been using for the past 1 month that I absolutely fell in love with. They have changed my mixing game. My music sounds a lot better now that I've used them. So I don't want to spoil too much. Let's just get into the video. Yeah, I guess we'll begin with this plugin, Vaults. And I know what you're wondering. I already talked about this plugin in a video a few months back, but hear me out. I've told you before that this is like Labs. It's a sampler and that they'll be introducing new sounds every now and then. Well, since my last video and my last review on this plugin, they've introduced 2 new sounds, the chorus synth and the studio drums. The last time I talked about this plugin, only 4 of these slots were filled, and now we have 2 more. Chorus synth is exactly what it sounds like. It is an old school synth. Here's what it sounds like. Believe it or not, this is the first time I'm actually playing the synth, so I'm hearing it for the first time just like you, and I like it. And now for their latest release, Studio Drums. This is Vault's version of an acoustic drums. Here's what they sound like. That was so lame. But you know, you don't get a lot of free acoustic drums, so in my opinion, it's pretty good. These were the 2 instrument plugins that I wanted to show you. The rest of the plugins are all mixing plugins. So let's move on to plugin number 2. And this is plugin number 2. It's called Refire by Auto Boogie. I'm butchering that. This is a drum processing plugin. What you have to do is add this to your drum bus. If you don't know what a drum bus is the channel on the mixer that all your individual drum elements are routed to. It's a pretty simple and straightforward plugin. It has these knobs: bang, heat, sub, detail, and clamp. And let me show you the difference in my drums before and after I put the Refire. This is before. And now after. The drums really came alive and they're much more punchy. They sit much better in the mix. So yeah, if you want to make your drum sound good, get this plugin. Now moving on to plugin number 2, we have an old but gold plugin, Wider. Now why am I bringing up Wider? It's an old plugin. I'm pretty sure everyone has heard of it by now. It's a stereo plugin. Don't let looks deceive you. This isn't just Wider. This is the Wider 2. Released like a month ago by Polyverse. This is exactly the stereo plugin that I've been looking for all this while. If you see this knob over here, you can separate the frequencies and widen them based on what you cut off. For example, low end is usually in mono, and that shouldn't be widened. So in case you're working with a sound that has a lot of low end, you can just cut off like 200 to 300 hertz or something. And then when you widen it, only the frequency above the 200 to 300 hertz will be widened. So it's great for like pianos and stuff. I'll show you what this sounds like without the wider and with the wider. So this is without the wider. Now with the wider. You probably hear it a little better if you're using headphones or if you have like good speakers, but I can tell the difference. Now I'll give you a little tip on how to download it. If you do have the Wider plugin, in order to update it, you just have to go to the Polyverse website and just download it again. That's how you update it. There's no separate update button. You have to download it again, and when it gets downloaded and installed, it will be automatically updated, and that's it. Now for the last plugin. Felt like this video was pretty short, but I am giving you some gems nonetheless. This last plugin is my favorite out of all of them. It's called Pancake 2. It's by a company called Cable Guys. Cable Guys are the founder of plugins like Halftime, Shaperbox, and the infamous Nicky Romero Kickstart. This is a panning plugin. The orange line that you see over here, that's what the sound is going to follow. So right now, the sound is going to go from left to right, but you can play around with it and make whatever shape you want. No matter how crazy it is, the sound is gonna follow that. I'll show you. This plugin is so good for making atmospheric ambience. It's like you can have like a pad just floating around in whatever direction that you've made. Other than that, you have this mix knob, and that's what you use to basically adjust the intensity of the panning. I throw this plugin on almost every ambient sound that I have, and every song that I work on always has this plugin. Just make sure not to overdo it, that's all. So yeah, those are the plugins that I have for you, 4.5 plugins like I promised. And like I mentioned before, the links to all these plugins will be available in the description, so just go and check them out. Your mixing game is gonna change drastically. Once again, it's really good to be back. For all of you who commented on the community page and asking if I was okay, thank you so much. It really meant a lot to me. Subscribe if you haven't, leave a like and a comment, and I'll see you next week.